Greetings guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. A few years ago I made a video or two about this dating coach who goes by Playing with Fire, and he has a YouTube channel where he uploads free videos, because you know YouTube is free obviously, where he uploads videos such as how to make a girl really interested over text, girls' biggest turn-ons, how much does dating cost in 2024, and how to pick up girls that don't speak English, which are all obviously incredibly obnoxious and infuriating. And he uploads these like super regularly, and he has so many of them, and they all are sort of along these lines where he sits here and he like sits on his couch and he shows a million different Tinder profiles that he makes and how he talks to women and how many dates he goes on, etc, etc. But you know, you know that it doesn't just stop there. You know that like the YouTube channel is just a free little taste for his paid for online dating course. Because of course he has an online dating course. Who doesn't? Who doesn't have an online dating course? What a normal fun thing to have as a job. And so like last time when I made a video about him, I went through and watched some of his videos, but I've never actually gone to his website. And so this time I decided to do that. And oh boy, are we gonna have a fun time deep diving with this one. And if you enjoy this video and this type of content that I do, please do not forget to hit subscribe. I am trying to hit 500k subscribers by the end of the year, and over 50% of you are regular viewers but are not subscribed, and I would so appreciate if you checked. It genuinely helps me out so much. YouTube has been kicking my ass in the algorithm recently, so if you were to subscribe or like, comment, etc, like it helps me a lot and I appreciate it so much. And also I would like to take a moment quickly to say a massive thank you to today's patron of the day, Ari. I appreciate you and your support so much. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you like this video, and if anyone else would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/savvycat, click the link in the description. All right, so let's move into his fun dating website. His tagline, the like first thing you see on the website, is join the elite 1% on Tinder and actually get laid. So, you know, I think that really lays the groundwork for what this is. He advertises this as not just like, you know, a way to get dates and, you know, sleep with women, but it's a self-improvement course because some men just lack confidence, you know, and they need a course like this to boost their confidence, to talk to women, to have sex regularly on dating apps. And like, it's so funny because like, let's be so real, all right? Having confidence issues, I understand is a problem. Talking to people is difficult. I myself am an introvert and I struggle with social anxiety. Talking to people is terrifying. I get that. However, like my main struggle in talking to people is not trying to talk to them on dating apps specifically to have sex with them. That's like the lowest priority area of where my self-confidence is an issue. And I think that if you struggle to talk to people and you don't know how to have a conversation and you want to get better at communicating, starting with a dating course where you are exclusively learning just how to message people with dating profiles to have regular casual hookups, I question your motives. I don't think you're working on like actual confidence issues. And I think you should instead maybe see a therapist and try to work on your self-esteem and your confidence and your social abilities in a more appropriate context. And you might be sitting here like, but therapists are so expensive. You can't just tell people to go to therapy. Do you know how much this course costs? This course costs $300. $300. It is $300 for this course to teach you how to get laid on Tinder. And you know how many people have purchased this? This has over 12,000 reviews. That means that he has made over $3 million from running this fucking course. What the fuck? The fact that many men have paid $300 for this course is like absolutely astounding to me. Like, and there's so many of these too. Like, he's obviously not the only dating coach. There's so many of these online dating coach programs, and the fact that so many men are forking up like hundreds of dollars to learn how to talk to women with the explicit reason of having casual sex is kind of scary. Like, that's kind of scary, right? We're in agreement on that. Because like, imagine you like are talking to someone on a dating app and you end up like going home with them and then finding out that everything they said to you was like fed to them through this random dating coach that they paid $300 for. Like, their entire conversation, their demeanor, everything about them was like not actually them, but was just told to them as to how to act in order to get you to sleep with them. I would feel real gross. You know, like that would feel so weird. Hard block. If I find out you spent $300 on a dating coach, I am blocking you. Especially like this course advertises itself like explicitly it says time and time over that they are trying to help you hook up with as many women as you can in a short period of time. So like 2 or 3 women a week is what they're helping you achieve. That is the goal here. It is to help you hook up with 2 or 3 different women every single week. And the example they used was saying, once we had a guy who lived in his parents' basement bring so many women home, he got kicked out. Like, this is not about self-improvement, no matter which way you flip it, no matter how you're trying to sell it. If the way you feel validation and the only way you can feel good about yourself is how many women you sleep with, you need help. You need therapy. If the only way you can validate your worth and who you are as a person and feel good about yourself is hooking up with a bunch of women, you genuinely need therapy, because that is not healthy. That is a problem and you need help. When you pay your $300, I can't get over how expensive that is, oh my God. When you pay your $300 to get access to this effective dating program on how to hook up with women, one of the things you get access to is a Facebook group. And this is explicitly advertised. And one of the things I hate the most, it makes me so mad, it makes me so upset, because you get access to a Facebook group, which they say is a place for your wingmen. You get like thousands, hundreds of wingmen to help you out. And it's advertised on this by being like, look at all the hotties that our people are meeting up with and hooking up with. Because what they do in this Facebook group is they are posting screenshots of conversations they are having with people on Tinder and asking for advice on like what to say. They are posting screenshots and photos of these women that they are hooking up with, and sometimes they are not safe for work photos too. And I have major doubts about these women giving permission for these men to be uploading these to a Facebook group where there are hundreds of people. Like, you cannot be like taking private conversations and people's faces and everything and like uploading them to a Facebook group for everyone to look at and like to congratulate you and to offer advice, etc. Like, imagine, once again, going on a date with someone and then finding out that like all of your conversations have been posted not just to like 1 or 2 friends, but to a Facebook group with hundreds of people, all telling you how to respond and telling you what to do and giving like details about the hookup you just had. Like, they've offered, this is what I did to this woman last night. Like, that's all on a public group for men to read. Like, that's gross. That's fucking weird. The fact that that is a part of this and one of the major selling points, it just doesn't feel legal, you know? Like, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Like, it's really gross. It's so fucking weird, bro. Like, that's so weird. This whole dating coach experience and like the fact that this exists and is something that people are paying for makes me feel dirty. You know, like, it makes me feel grimy and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And you know what helps when I'm feeling dirty and like I need to cleanse and wash my entire body is my good friend and today's video sponsor, Geology. Geology is a 38-time award-winning skin, hair, and body care company who make skincare easy. I have been working with Geology for the past 2.5 years. You all know how much I love Geology, but I will tell you about them again today. I have incredibly sensitive skin, especially like my face. And when I moved to London back in 2019, my skin reacted so poorly, like whether it's the heavy water or the pollution, I don't know. I started breaking out like mad. Like my acne was terrible. It was so painful. I was so uncomfortable all the time and nothing worked. All of the cleansers and products and things that I used just aggravated it and made it worse, even if they were for sensitive skin. And then I was introduced to Geology and literally like my skin has never been better. I have improved so much and I like only now struggle with minor breakouts and it's not as irritating, it's not as itchy, it's not as painful, like it's just minor breakouts every now and then. And I've also noticed as well recently that like my scarring and skin texture has evened out so much. And I was so impressed by that too. Like over the past like 1.5 years, my breakouts have stopped and also that scarring has disappeared. And I owe that all to Geology. Geology's aim is to make skincare as easy as possible and also cater it to you and your needs. All you have to do is take a very quick skin survey and answer a few questions and it will build you a little kit that is best suited for you and your skin types and what you are looking for. And in each kit you will get a face wash which you use morning and night, a moisturizer to use in the morning, which includes an SPF, which is so important for no matter what time of year, you've got to protect your skin from the sun. An eye cream, which if you're like me is very valuable because I do not get very much sleep and you wouldn't know because no dark circles. Thank you, eye cream. And also my favorite thing in the entire world, which is their retinol night cream. It is so soft and velvety and I literally like love nothing more than putting this on my face every single night. Like it feels so good. I'm obsessed with it. Literally like honestly my favorite skincare products ever. One of my other favorite things of theirs is an extra product that you can add on, which is their vitamin C and E serum, which works for like brightening, it works for helping with texture and with scarring, and obviously, as I said, has worked miracles. For me, it has helped my skin texture and scarring even out so much, and I am obsessed with it. I love it. They also do body wash, shampoo, and conditioner, and I love all of those products as well. I've been using like exclusively Geology for the past 2.5 years. I'm obsessed with them. I talk about them constantly. I recommend them to my friends and family offline as well. Like I genuinely, they're my favorite people to work with because I am genuinely obsessed with their products. If you would like to try Geology for yourself, which I cannot recommend enough, then you can use the link in the description or the QR code up on the screen right now with the code KIWI70 and you will get 70% off your first skincare starter kit, which takes it to only $12, and then you get any additional item completely free. That is an incredible deal. You do not want to miss out. It is genuinely such an incredible product, like a life changer. I hope that you enjoy. I know that I do. Thank you so much, Geology, for sponsoring today's video. And let's get back into the absolute hellscape that is the Playing with Fire dating course. Okay. Before you sign up for this course and spend your $300 that you just have lying around to spend on hooking up with random women, they have a quiz on their homepage, which is find out if your text game needs help. Matching on Tinder isn't enough. Find out where you stand with your text game by taking our quiz below. And I clicked on this when I was planning this video. I answered the first question and then I got to the second one and was like, I need to do this on camera. I can't sit here and do this by myself because the reactions are too strong and I don't want to have to do it twice. So let's see how, I'm scared for this, if I'm being completely honest. I don't like the way he talks to or about women. Let's find out if my text game needs help. Okay. Hey, trouble. Hi, lol. Why am I trouble? What would you say when a girl replies like this to hey, trouble? It's okay if you aren't. Haha, I'm just kidding. Well, you matched with me for starters. because your profile pic is you in your swimsuit. None of them. I mean, I guess I wouldn't respond well to someone calling me trouble. Like if you say hi trouble to me, like I'm just not responding. But if I did say that to someone and they reply, what would I say? Am I gonna try get in there? Am I trying to get in his head, or I guess I have to try get in his head because I don't like any of it. What should I go with? Well, you matched with me for starters. I imagine that's what he would say. Okay. DTF girl, how would you respond? Hint, keep it simple. And here are the messages. Your innocent looking fuck me eyes gave it away. Oh, did they? Pretty sure you've got the fuck me eyes going on too. So maybe we're both big trouble. We could be world-class double trouble. We can be double trouble in the streets and double dirty in bed. Okay, you're meant to do the rhyme. Like, I'm sorry, girl, we can be double trouble in the streets and double dirty in the bed? You didn't say in the sheets? Like, girl. Girl, what the fuck? I don't like these messages, and I don't like the options even more. Yes, I would push you on the bed, kiss up your inner thighs, spread your legs wide open as you squirm in anticipation. No, I will file a restraining order if you send me that. Dirty how? I'll get the handcuffs ready. Let's hang out later tonight. I'm going with that last one because the others all scare me. So I'm going with that one. Oh, I got it wrong. Wait. Oh shit. Oh, I didn't realize that this was a test. Dirty how? Okay, dirty how is the correct response. So I got the first one right then. Okay, I didn't realize this is how this worked. All right, okay, next one. Not even gonna say hello first? Hello, how are you? Amazing, just drinking wine on my romantic patio. You? Watching Netflix? Sex ed? No, Parks and Rec. Sounds exciting, so tell me a bit about you. I'm studying geology and dance, graduating next year, and I'd like to explore the city. Pretty surface level back and forth. How would you move forwards? Sounds fun. Where have you been to in the city? That's great. What's your major? Cool. I like to shake my booty from time to time as well. Would you like me to tell you about myself? Sounds fun. Where have you been in the city? Or that's great. What's your major? Are the only two options here, I think. That's great. What's your major? Oh, no, I have to... You're halfway through the quiz. Please share your name and email to receive the correct answers at the end and explain. I don't want to do that. I don't want to give you my fucking email. Okay, fine. What's my name? My name is Dave now. Okay. You'll get immediate access to the correct answers. Plus, we'll also email you a detailed video featuring Alex breaking down every question and answer. And I don't want that. This says, just got done with a workout, heading to the shower. Gotta say, you were exactly my type. Haha, I did see your type in your bio. I have some curves and dark hair. Definitely wish I had a better booty though. As long as it's squeezable, we'll make it work. I don't like that. Hahaha, okay, sounds good. So, Ame, what are you looking for right now? No reply after this. How should you re-engage? Hello, are you there? Are you busy? Oh great, another flake. Don't think too hard. None of them. That was 9 whole minutes of this and I didn't even get to the end and I had to give him my email address. I love that all of these though are just like literally examples from his own conversations that he's had. It's so funny. Anyway, I got bored of that quiz. I thought that the examples were so strange. Everything about it is so odd. I love that like this entire thing is like him catering towards one specific type of woman, right? Like the whole thing is like, this is how you talk to women. It's like all women respond to things differently. As you could tell by my reactions to where I hated pretty much every single one of those conversations with every single one of those options as an answer. Like you are just teaching men to all go for the same type of woman, even though these men are all different and they're missing out on a whole pool of women who are potentially more for them. However, in saying that, these men all did fork up $300 to pay for a dating course, so I feel like they have a pretty small pool Anyway, now that we have established that I seemingly don't know how to speak to women because I didn't like any of those conversations, we have 2 options. One is downloading his free AI app that will make your messages for you. Because that's the thing that he has. He has an app where you enter in the messages that she sent and it will formulate a response for you to send her. Can people do nothing anymore? Oh my god, that's so sad. AI is so sad. Like, you can't even talk to people anymore. You won't even talk to people anymore. You don't know how to respond to a message, so you ask a robot to do it for you. Like, you are removing the best parts of life. Like, forming human connection and having relationships, whether they are successful or they fail, is like what makes us human. If you cannot send a message without getting a fucking robot to look over it for you, you're not living. And also, I am going to straight up class that as manipulation and dishonesty, because you aren't even the one speaking to her. She is not talking to you, she is talking to AI. That is not her getting to know you. That is not her learning your personality. And if you end up sleeping with her, that's like, to me, like low-key blurring the line of consent a little bit, because you have not been honest with who you are as a person. You've not like actually communicated her or formed any emotional connections or anything at all. She doesn't know you. She's been talking to a robot. When you get into like lying and playing things up and like manipulating the situation, like you really do start to blur that line. And I think that it's like so looked over and glossed over so often, where like people do lie in order to hook up with people and then completely ignore the fact that that is like taking away aspects of consent because they don't have the full story. Since I am so anti-AI and think that, you know, using AI to talk to someone is the most sad thing in the entire world, I suppose I'm being forced to spend $300 on his dating course. Don't worry though, I am not actually going to do that. I'm not giving this man $300. I do not have $300 to spend on a video. That's not happening. He doesn't need to be $300 richer, and I don't have that money to spare. We're just going and looking at what his website says the course is going to include. Because he says a lot. He has a 13-minute video that breaks it down, but it was really boring, so I'm not gonna watch that. Instead, we're just gonna go over the bullet points that he laid out of the things that this course includes, and we're gonna break it down a little bit and get to know what this is, because this is what people see before they spend $300. Okay, so this course advertises itself as having 10 foundational chapters that will take you from no sex to getting laid by hot girls on a regular basis. So that is its main advertising component. And then those 10 steps go on to be broken down into dozens of smaller steps. And here is some of what they cover. So the first step teaches you how to make a better dating profile. It tells you how you should post your photos, which photos you should choose, what your bio should say, like the way you should set up your dating profile in order to get the highest number of matches. And I find this step really funny because I hate his photos and his bio. Like, everything about his profile for me is like an immediate no, and would also be a no from everyone else that I know. Now, granted, I am obviously not his type. He is obviously not my type, but this circles back to what we were saying before of like cutting down on the pool of people, because you're like, this is what is going to make you the most successful. It's like, it'll make you successful within a specific group of people, sure, but like ultimately you are still cutting out an entire group of people. And like, I used to use dating apps for casual hookups as well. Like, I was a user of dating apps in that sense. So it's not even just cutting out people who want relationships, you are still cutting out people who are looking for like casual things. And like, I'm not saying you should lie in order to reach a different type of person, but you are telling a lot of these people to lie to meet this type of person, when really they could just be playing up what they already have and still being authentic to themselves and not all aiming for the exact same pool of people that work for you. You know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at? You're all changing yourself to fit to one certain type of person because that works for this one man. And it's so weird that everyone just copies this one set of like what this one guy does. It's weird. You're all like sleeping with the same women. Anyway, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on his bio, because as I said, immediate no from me. But what do you think? Because he thinks that this bio is like top tier, it gets him matches, and so he tells everyone to make bios like this, all right? And it goes, my passion is traveling around the world and seductively whispering Russian in your ear. Strengths, being dominant, great cuddler, barbecuing. Weaknesses, intelligence, and cute smiles. And my favorite part about this bio though is the fact that he does his strengths and then what he is weak for. But usually when you do strengths and weaknesses, you do your strengths and your weaknesses. And if you read it like that, he's basically just saying that he's stupid. Like, intelligence is not his strong point. Please do not hold an intelligent conversation with him. That is a weak point for him. He can't keep up. And that's just so funny to me. He doesn't have a cute smile. When he tries, it just really doesn't work. And he also like is not intelligent and cannot keep up with an intelligent conversation. And that's fucking hilarious because that is the opposite of what he's going for. But that's like kind of how it's laid out. And I don't know if he's aware of that, but bro, that's kind of what you're saying here. But anyway, me personally, I don't vibe with it. I don't like it. But like, yeah, obviously this is going to appeal to some people. It obviously works for him, but like teaching this exact same formula and layout to everyone it's cutting the dating pool down quite drastically, obviously, appealing to only one group of people. And like, I'm fine with that. Like, I personally, not that I'm on dating apps anymore, but like, I personally would like to keep these men who are paying $300 for a dating course as far away from me as possible. But I'm just saying that it's weird and I think it could be more effective. But obviously he's trying to teach thousands of men all at once who has to stick to the same exact formula instead of actually playing on their own strengths. Once again, means that it's not self-improvement, it's trying to change yourself in order to get something out of women. Along with the helping you choose your best photos and bio and whatever for your Tinder profile, it also comes with a quick start guide to get you laid within a week. But you can also get a short version, which is meant to help get you laid within the next hour. And I don't know if he was exaggerating with that or not, but that is what he's saying, is that it'll get you laid tonight. And once again, I feel like you can't really make much of an argument against it being like manipulation and for it being self-improvement if like you are going from having absolutely no game and inability to get any dates to being able to sleep with someone within the next 45 minutes. Like, you are changing who you are. You are being inauthentic in order to make that happen. And I just don't like playing with the lines of consent like this. You know, I just don't think it's a great thing to be doing. I don't think we should be paying $300 in order to have sex with someone immediately. It just doesn't feel very ethical to me. It's just kind of fucked up and a bit sad, really, doesn't it? I would love to hear what this means though. If it's not some form of manipulation and lying in order to take advantage of women, I would love to hear an alternative explanation. So please enlighten me. The next step, the next bullet point that it includes is how to text girls so they will be attracted to you and set up dates where she will come straight to your house ready for sex. Do not be just inviting women to your house for sex, especially as a first date. And women, I feel we already know this and we've been told this our entire lives. Please do not go to a man's house before meeting him in a public setting. Do not do that. You are putting yourself in danger. Unfortunately, it is something that we have to be very conscious of. And if you do plan on going home with a man, please be safe. Take precaution. Tell your friends where you are. Turn on Find My iPhone. Send your friend a location. Take them back to your place or like a hotel. Somewhere that is more neutral and not leaning in his favor is what I would recommend. I've been stupid in the past and have like been at some guy's house without telling anyone where I am and then been like, wait, hold on a minute. I suddenly do not feel safe, and then just gone and texted people the address. And because, you know, people should know where you are. It's a fucked up world out there, and men who are willing to pay $300 to sleep with you immediately are not men to be trusted, in my personal opinion. It's so sad to look at like human connection and like building a relationship through such a robotic lens and like a step-by-step process that is spelled out by other people. Like, it is one thing to need advice on what to say next, and offer input to a friend and get like feedback on like what to say, and another to have like your entire conversation fleshed out and built by some strangers. I understand having anxiety and social anxiety and like not knowing what to say and talking to people, because I struggle with that as well. Talking to people is scary. However, like taking away that experience from yourself and handing that entirely over to someone else is greatly like limiting your experience as a person, because you aren't the one forming that connection. And if you speaking as yourself and saying what you want to say is like turning someone off and putting them off you, then that's not the right person for you. You know what I mean? And if it's just because you're being like an asshole, then you do need to do some self-reflection and like work on yourself. But you should be doing that in a context that is not trying to get women to have sex with you. You know? Like if you need to do some self-improvement to work on how to communicate to people without being a shitty person, you shouldn't be practicing when you're trying to sleep with them. You know, like I feel like that should be blatantly obvious, but apparently is not, because these people only care about one thing, and that is sleeping with as many people as they possibly can. And like I understand like viewing social situations with needing to go over a bit of a script and like, you know, working through it as you go, because sometimes people don't really understand you don't really get it. I know with a lot of neurodivergent people as well, you can like view conversations as like a scripted thing and something that you need to talk yourself through and like plan out. But I think that that's very different when you're just trying to, you know, like not be excluded and like navigate your way through the world and through relationships, versus trying to get something out of someone for a purely selfish reason. You know, like there is a big difference between just like trying to exist and fit in and like struggling with like masking and who you are and how to present yourself, versus changing who you are and what you want to say and going through the motions in order to get something out of it, where you are like involving another person in such a personal and vulnerable way. You know, there is a big difference there, and I think that that needs to be addressed. Yeah, because the line of consent is being blurred. And you are just taking away such like the most important part of what sex is, and that is the actual connection. You don't even have to be like emotionally invested in each other, but you should at least have some sort of connection. You know what I mean? There should be at least be some sort of connection, especially if the hookup is based off of conversation you've had beforehand. I think it's different to like, you know, sometimes if you're gonna hook up in the bar or whatever, like maybe you don't even have any conversation and it just fucking happens. That's different to like lying about yourself and trying to like weasel your way into a date on an app, you know? The next step is how to deal with objections, and the answer to that better just be take a no and leave it. There's no alternative to that. How to handle objections. Walk away. Walk away. If she says no, leave her the fuck alone. There's no further step. That's it. That's it. If your advice is anything other than say, hey, no worries, have a good day, then your advice is shit and it's damaging and it's harmful, and fuck you. If your advice is to not take no as an answer and to keep persisting, I hope that jail time finds you, because coercion is not consent, and not taking no for an answer, that's coercion. Yeah, we don't do that. We don't teach people that. We don't encourage that. How to handle objection? Walk away. And finally, the last of these basic steps is how to move on from casual sex and keep a hot girlfriend. And I think for this, if you are relying on an online course, you're already a lost cause. Like, I'm sorry, but if you are relying on an online course to maintain a relationship, the relationship is not meant to be. It is not for you. This should be coming from you. The relationship should be formed based off of you as a person and as people and your like emotional connection. You should be able to be yourself and be vulnerable and hold conversations and have that be respected and reciprocated, because that's what a relationship is. There should be trust, there should be communication, and if you don't have that, the relationship will not work. If you need a group of men on Facebook to tell you how to speak and act in order to be a relationship, it's not a good relationship. You shouldn't have to overthink. When you're in a relationship of any sort, romantic or platonic, you should be feeling free. You know, you should be able to allow yourself to be vulnerable. You shouldn't have to overthink everything you say and you do. And if you are having to do all of that, it's not the right relationship for you. If you're only in this relationship because she's hot and you don't actually care about her or her connection to you or how you work together as people, you don't actually want a relationship. And it's okay to like want, you know, advice in a relationship. Like I understand sometimes relationships are tricky. You don't know how to be in a relationship or whatever, but that's what you have friends for, you know? That's like not where you turn to a group of strangers whose entire thing is to like objectify women and try to maintain a relationship with someone that you think is just hot. And I understand like rejection issues are a thing, abandonment issues are a thing. If you have to fight to just maintain the relationship, it just isn't worth it. And it's not being abandoned, it's like recognizing and understanding that the relationship has reached its natural conclusion and there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to keep a hot girlfriend, you have to be honest with yourself and with them, and you have to like actually have a connection and conversations. And if you are unable to do that, then you are not ready for a relationship. It is truly astounding to me how many of these courses exist and how many men pay for them. Like, I see them all the time. You see them so often. There are so many of these like YouTube accounts and TikTokers and things who are men who give dating advice, who just make these courses that cost a lot of money. Like some of them cost thousands of dollars and men buy them. And it's so concerning and so weird because like all of these men are paying money to listen to other men tell them how to talk to women. Maybe the problem here, guys, is that you aren't listening to women. Like if the person you turn to about how to talk to women is a man, that might be the issue. That might be the issue because we've been sitting here and telling you what we want and what we like and how we want to be talked to and how we want to be treated and what we want from you, but you don't listen. You're like, you're lying. Women say that, but they don't actually want that. I'm gonna go get advice from this man. Like, maybe that's the problem, bro. If you're willing to fork up $300 to listen to a man tell you about women, good fucking luck. Good luck. Like, sure, you might be able to get a few casual hookups, but it's not really gonna go that much further than that because you don't give a fuck about women or what we have to say or our opinions or our thoughts or interests or anything. You just care about how hot we are and how much sex you can get out of us. So, you know, good fucking luck. If you are throwing away like human connection and emotions and communication just for like short lasting pleasure, you are always going to be alone. Like, I hate to break it to you, but like, it's not gonna work out for you in the end. Work on building relationships and communicating with people and learning to listen, and you'll have a lot more success with all forms of relationships going forwards. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. It was a bit all over the place because I had a bunch of technical issues, so hopefully it worked out okay in the end. A massive thank you to my Kiwi cat patrons: Bobby, Ellie, Chris, Samuel, Knitting Menace, Radsack, Mr. Noodle, Lady Nutbar, Ella, Queen Glimmer, River, Phenomenally, Jesse, Phil the Duck, Uh-Oh It's Craig Lowe, Blaze, Blue Kitsune 24, M.A. Ping the Games, Joy, L. James D, Prismatic, and Beckett. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. If anyone else would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/savvycat or click the link in the description. For as little as £1 a month, you get my videos a day, 1 to 5 days early with no ads. And then for £3 and up, you get things such as outtakes, bonus mini podcasts, live streams, vlogs, and more. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. When you close your eyes, you replace the darkness.